Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and welcome back to Sentinel Reviews. Our reviews of Series 8 of the 4th Doctor Adventures continues with Episode 2, Planet of the Drashigs, by James Mulrine. Like the rest of the first 4 stories of Series 8, Planet of the Drashigs was released in January of 2019. It was directed by Nicholas Briggs and stars Tom Baker as the Doctor, Jane Slavin as Ann Kelso, and John Leeson as K9. Also featured in the cast are Fenella Woolgar, Jeremy Clyde, Lizzie Roper, Andrew Ryan, and Dan Starkey as the Drashigs. As always, I will be talking spoilers, however, this time, as much as possible, I will try to relegate them to the end, or towards the end of the video, because this story did just come out. And before we begin, I do want to address something. I meant to address it in my first video, the Sinestran Kill. However, it completely slipped my mind. So, here it is now. I know on Twitter, and I think I said it in a video, I don't remember, I said that I would start doing the Countermeasure series. And that is still on the docket. I don't know when, but here's one of the issues. With 3 or 4 exceptions, like the 3DAs, the Legacy of Time, Series 8B of the 4th Doctor Adventures and such, everything I pre-ordered is coming out in January. Like today, the day of filming this, Tuesday, January 22nd, the Diary of River Song Series 5 just came out. Expect a review on that sometime in the future. Hopefully in February, we'll see. And also next week, because was announced for January, and next week is the last week of January, Volume 3 of the David Bradley First Doctor Adventures will be coming out. So yeah, all my new stuff is coming out right now, and I want to listen to that first. I just wanted to get it out of the way. So now, here we go. Planet of the Drashigs. This was a good story. I have to admit that I wasn't looking forward to it like a lot of people were, because a lot of people were excited for the Drashigs, and I have not seen Carnival of Monsters. I know. Feel free to revoke my nerd license. But yeah, no, I don't know if I've talked about it before, but here's the thing. I had Amazon Prime, and through Amazon Prime, I had BritBox. Last year, Amazon said they were going to be upping their Prime membership from $99 a year to $119 a year, and for me, that just wasn't feasible. Even if it was only once a year, you'd have to make that payment, so I canceled my Prime subscription, and when I went into BritBox, they said, yeah, sorry, this was a perk of your Amazon Prime membership. Because you canceled that, this has been canceled. I've been meaning to start up a BritBox subscription again because it's dirt cheap, and it is also available independently of like Amazon Prime. But the thing is, from what I've seen, the only way to stream it is on my computer or my phone. And it's just a thing with me, but I don't like doing that. What I liked about having it on Amazon Prime is I could open the Amazon app on my PS4 and watch it that way. But like I said, that's a weird thing. It's just me. So yeah, a lot of my classic Who gaps have not been filled because of this. I am working on it though. Anyway, yeah. Overall, let's get into the review. Overall, as of right now, for Series 8A, because they're releasing 8A now and they'll release 8B in February, this is either the weakest story or one of the weakest stories. Just given how they released it, it might be the False Guardian, which I'll get to later. That's the weaker story. But yeah, this was still a very solid story, so it's not bad, but I had issues. What's the plot? Well, after whisking Anne away in the TARDIS, the Doctor, first of all, finishes building K9 Mark II and introduces him to Anne And then while they're traveling, they're forced to make a crash landing on a planetoid, basically, actually, where they come across basically a theme park, a zoo that is a habitat to Drashigs. And yeah, given a Doctor Who story, the Doctor shows up and everything goes wrong. But yeah, I realize, yeah, that's the basic plot, so let's get into some of the specific stuffs. I realized in my last video on the Sinestron Kill again, I didn't really talk about the Doctor all that much, and it's just, at this point, really, what is there to say? I mean, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Paul McGann have been playing this part for years. They pretty much, everything you can say about them has already been said. You know, really the only time you can say anything new is if the writing or the story doesn't really serve them or doesn't really benefit them. Like in my top 5 Big Finish releases of 2018 video, I talked about Muse of Fire and how it did something that didn't gel right with the 7th Doctor. But yeah, no. The Doctor, Tom Baker, in this is phenomenal, as always. I've noticed that in this story, he is very gruff. He's very demanding. And well, I know he had his moments in the series that it always feels weird when he goes there because it doesn't seem like the 4th Doctor. Another issue with this story that I had is that ever since the recording of the 4th Doctor Adventure Series 2, the Mary Tam series, everyone has talked about, leading up to the release of Series 8, the chemistry Tom Baker and Jane Slavin have. And that's really one of the reasons why Anne was written. It was written for Jane Slavin to be a companion to Tom Baker. And because most of this story, they are separated, and even the moments they are together, this story really doesn't show off that chemistry. It doesn't show it off too well. And it doesn't really show it off because they're separated, and when they are together, it doesn't really show it off too well. That being said, I loved the scene where Anne met K9, and I loved their dynamic. Just Anne and K9 were absolutely adorable. So, and I feel this story didn't really... I'm trying to think about Anne in this story because, I mean, she was kind of just there letting everything happen. She was sort of, to the side characters she was with, she was sort of mostly the yes girl. She didn't really, they basically said, I need you to do this, and she just sort of ran with it. She didn't really get the chance to do much. Another issue with this story, as was advertised and as the first story established, Series 8, excuse me, is supposed to be a series-long arc. Series 8 has the caption, The Syndicate Master Plan, and at the end of the Sinestron Kill, Anne basically says, yeah, I want to go see with the universe with you, but she says it as, well, we now have this conspiracy involving the Sinestrons. Maybe you could use a cop to help you. And Series 2 begins a little bit after that, not so much that you think there'd be another adventure there, because the TARDIS is just sort of idly in the vortex while the Doctor builds K9. And the story starts off with Anne basically saying, I thought we were going to go see the universe and stuff. So just right off the bat, this story immediately isolates itself from the series arc, which I wasn't a fan of. Who knows, maybe in Series 8B there will be a story that ties this one back, but yeah. And then there is the obvious thing. This story is a play on Jurassic Park. I don't have an issue with that. Doctor Who in the past a lot has done, oh, let's do this story but in the Doctor Who universe. Like in Classic Doctor's New Monsters Volume 1, Jadoon in Chains was the Elephant Man. The Tsuranga Conundrum in Series 11 was a combination of Alien and the Twilight Zone episode Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. Those two are sticking at the forefront of my mind, just for example. I'm trying to think of other ones. The Deadly Assassin was the Manchurian Candidate. So on and so forth. So, the story being a play on Jurassic Park, I have no issue with. As far as having an issue with it, this is the second time that Doctor Who has done that, because I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago now, Classic Doctor's New Monsters Volume 2 did the same Jurassic Park type story with Day of the Vashta Nerada. The Drashigs themselves, I feel, were really underplayed here. The owner of this park, Drashig World, explains all the different subspecies of Drashigs. Like, you have the wetland Drashigs, which I think were the ones in Carnival of Monsters. You have burrowing desert Drashigs, and then you have much smaller, but much more vicious, emerald Drashigs, which are the focus of this story. And just to make a comparison, back to the Jurassic Park analog, the emerald Drashigs are the velociraptors. And yeah, even though they try to set up all this stuff, I feel the Drashigs weren't played up enough. The side characters were, with one exception, mostly one note. Like, you had the John Hammond type, who was the owner of the park, and he was staunchly defensive about it. It's like, what's going wrong? That's impossible. You had the Robert Muldoon gamekeeper type, clever girl, but I actually, even though it was a one-note character, I really liked this character. I liked the performance Lizzie Roper gave her, and I just found that this character actually really worked. You have the safety inspector, who honestly was the most annoying character in this story. He was very snooty and even sort of spoke with that snooty uppity voice, kind of. And it's just, finally by his third scene, I was like, oh, just die already. Because, yeah, you could tell he was wearing the red shirt. I mean, yeah, I am comparing this story a lot to Jurassic... Oh, and then there's the scientist, who, as I said, was the one exception. She has been working on this secret experiment to read the minds of Drashigs, and that's really, in sort of stepping away from that Jurassic Park analog, that's really where everything starts going wrong. Because, spoilers here, here's the spoilers. The experiment causes her and the Drashigs to be telepathically linked. So she can hear their thoughts screaming in their head, and sometimes she is motivated to act on those instincts. Like, she sort of goes into a daze where she's sort of motivated by the Drashigs' thoughts, and she's the one who lets them out. But yeah, I really liked her character. As I said, to all the one-note side characters in this, she is the one exception, because, one, she's played by Fenella Woolgar, who does a great job here, and two, she was really layered. She starts off as this eager young scientist, and as the story goes on, you really see the side effects of this experiment destroying her mind. Another issue I have with this story in particular is the sound design. Like, a lot of the action sequences are really frenetic, and in terms of sound design, they're all over the place, to the point that I had no idea what was going on, And usually Big Finish is, compared to other audio dramas, is really good at telling you what's going on versus letting your mind pick up what's going on. And it's just, in this story, yeah, no, the sound design was a problem, because so much of what was going on was lost because I couldn't make sense of the sound. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I can't really go into it. I can't explain my feelings. It's just, a gut feeling kind of thing, but the climax seemed rushed. So, yeah. Overall, Planet of the Drashigs is a good story, but I do think so far it may be the weakest of Series 8. Again, I'm debating between that and The False Guardian, but The False Guardian is for completely different reasons. But as I said, it is still good. There are still solid performances. And I think this is actually the Drashigs' debut on Big Finish. I could be wrong about that. Big Finish has a massive back catalog that I'm still working my way through. But I'm going to give Planet of the Drashigs a 6 out of 10. So, depending on when I do Diary of River Song Series 5, join me next time when the Doctor will then take Anne to Earth's past, where they will meet the Countess Ada Lovelace, the daughter of Lord Byron, one of the world's first computer programmers, and the Enchantress of Numbers. So what did you think? Feel free to start a conversation in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, and then click that little bell next to subscribe to get notifications when I upload. This is Sir Jedi Sentinel. Oh, in the description box below, I don't know why I've been forgetting this a lot, in the description box below, you will find the link to my Twitter where you can follow updates on me and the channel. This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and I will see you guys next time.